We all got our beefs and struggles, but we keep on trying to hide it. Working so hard to keep it together. Maybe it's time that we let go. We're moving on.
Welcome on board one of the most discussed cruise ships at the moment, at least on YouTube, the Margaritaville at Sea Paradise. If you've landed on this video, you might be considering cruising with the ship, or you might have seen one of the other videos online, which are almost all pretty awful. And here on the Very Unofficial Travel Guides, I always try to give you my honest opinion. I try never to make anything like overly positive. I try also not to make anything overly negative, and it kind of seems to me the trend among my fellow YouTube travel content creators is
book a trip on Margaritaville so you can talk about how horrible it is.
And I'm not going to do that. In this video, I'm just going to basically show you the ship and let you decide what you think it looks like. And in a separate video, I will be talking about what my experience was actually like. And I'm really looking forward to telling you what it's like. But like I said, that's going to be a different video. So just before we take a look around the ship, make sure you're subscribed and have the notification bell clicked so you'll know when that video goes online.
One step at a time, do something better. We're moving on.
Starting at the back of the ship, there's an outdoor space called the 5 o'clock somewhere bar, which also doubles as the Cheeseburger in Paradise bar and grill on the first day of the cruise. One thing I was thinking when we were sitting out here with our lunch is how few cruise ships offer an outdoor dining area as part of the buffet or at all. On so many ships, if you want to have your lunch outside, you have to fill up a plate of the buffet and then carry it back to the pool. If I'm cruising someplace sunny, I really enjoy being able to eat outside with a view of the water, and this area on the Margaritaville Paradise was great for that. Can you please let me know, what are some of the other ships that you know of that have outdoor seating in the buffet? After this ship, we boarded the Celebrity Equinox, and that ship also has an outdoor area at the back, so bonus. Moving on. If you take the steps outside the 5 o'clock somewhere bar up to the next level, you arrive at the 12-volt pool, which is in a way, I guess, the quieter pool. All the crazy activities happen at the other pool, and I think this space is more reserved for just lounging around one of the 2 hot tubs or at the 12-volt bar. By the way, you will see that there are not only 2 jacuzzis here on this ship, but there is also lip gloss. I think that this actually used to be outside, because if you look at the teak deck, they don't usually put this kind of wood on the inside of the ship. And so I think that this area was added. It looks very new. And this is then the buffet restaurant. There are 2 central food stations in the Port of Indecision, I love that name by the way, and then a panini station on one side and a pasta station on the other. The indoor seating did get a little cramped, which is another reason why we enjoyed grabbing our stuff and heading outside to the back of the ship. Just to the front of the buffet is the main pool area, which is definitely the party pool. This is the place to be for the loud and crazy sail away celebration on the first day of the cruise. There are other fun things that happened here during our cruise, like the usual audience participation games and a cocktail mixing show. We stayed on the ship when we were in port and almost had the entire pool deck to ourselves. There were only a few other people there, including this woman who went out of her way to walk directly in front of me while I was filming this shot. She could have easily walked behind me or between one of the other beds here, but she turned to walk right in front of me. Even her boyfriend looked at her like, "Babe, why would you do that?" And then they sat down at a table, lit up a huge stinky cigar, and started arguing with each other. So how do we feel about that? Anyway, overlooking the pool is this flying saucer which houses the nightclub called Hemisphere. I think it's nice that they have this so far away from the cabins so the noise doesn't bother people trying to sleep, but honestly, other than us, I don't think many people on board went to bed early. Directly below that is the ship's surprisingly large and modern fitness studio area. For the size of the ship, this is actually a pretty big gym, and it looked like all the machines were basically brand new. Really nice for anyone who can't go a day without pumping up, but we didn't spend any time in there, obviously. Now let's jump down into the middle of the ship. the heart of the ship is an atrium with a ginormous blue flip-flop in this open space that goes all the way up to Deck 9. Midship here on Deck 9, you have the pizza restaurant, which is not included in the price of the cruise, as well as the shops, and you'll see lots of Halloween decoration. I think this is cool. I've never been on a Halloween cruise before, and they definitely do have a lot of decoration around here. Another thing they have that I've only seen on Virgin Voyages is at the Margaritaville coffee shop. Not only can you get coffee, but you can also get spiked milkshakes when they're open. This thing is filled with gelato and ice cream, and you can get ice cream treats made with a shot of your favorite alcohol.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
By the way, I wanted to show you these really cool Margaritaville bikes. This is a multi-speed bike that has Margaritaville branding on it, which I think is pretty cool. I was so surprised that they're not really that expensive. They cost, even the most expensive one is like $400. I think this one is the model that's $400. If you follow me on Facebook and Instagram and also watch all the Sofa Times, you'll know that last year my bike got stolen 3 times. And I just recently, like within the last month and a half, finally bought another new bike. So I kind of am up to date with what the prices are for good and good looking bikes, and that's a pretty good price. So pizza, coffee shop, alcoholic milkshakes, and all that is at the top floor of this atrium. And if we go down one deck, we're in the Euphoria Lounge, which I think is probably the biggest bar on board, and it's also the place where you have to go to pick up your bracelet for the drink package if you have some kind of upgrade. Our License to Chill package provided us with 10 free drinks, so I wasn't concerned with the prices, but I grabbed this drink menu so you could check them out. And while you're deciding what your virtual cocktail order would be, please make sure you're subscribed and press the thumbs up button to help me out. At the front of the ship on Deck 8 and 9 is the Stars on the Water Theater and Bar. On the first night of our cruise, there were 2 different musical shows that happened in this venue, and we have the License to Chill VIP package, which allowed us to sit down here in this area. But for the second show, we just came and sat wherever we wanted, and it wasn't that hard to get a pretty good seat, even though we came like maybe 15 minutes before the show began. These shows are the traditional style musical review shows that used to be on so many cruise ships, where it's just a lot of really great live singing and dancing with a live band and a lot of people having fun. They're not trying to tell a story, and we really enjoyed it, although we're so jet-lagged from flying here yesterday or the day before yesterday that in the second show, Marcus and I were literally falling asleep. Even though the music was super loud, I was sitting there like this. Reminded me of being in algebra class in high school.
Just can't stay awake.
On one side of the back of Deck 8 is the JWB Steakhouse, which if you have the License to Chill or some other kind of upgrade, this is where wine tasting will be. This is where you will have one dinner, and your champagne breakfast will also be here as well. Directly on the other side from the steakhouse is Finn's Dining, which is the main dining room. That's where you go for your other meals if you're not, or for your other dinners, if you're not eating in the steakhouse or the buffet. Check out the menu here. We ate in the steakhouse last night, so we will be eating here tonight. And I have to say, I don't know, at least from the menu, looks pretty good. The atmosphere in the MDR was nice enough, but unfortunately our waiter messed up our order and we didn't really enjoy anything about our dinner there except for the desserts. But hey, desserts also count for something, I guess. I talked more about what happened in my full review of the cruise, so check that out when you're done watching this. This ship also has a dueling piano bar, which is always something fun to visit. We enjoyed having a drink in here and listening to the players mash up songs. But you know, I realized that once you've been to a dueling piano a few times, kind of seems like they pretty much just play the same 10 songs over and over. Anybody else feel this way? It's fun, but it's kind of repetitive. This is also where karaoke took place, and let me tell you, the people singing karaoke on Margaritaville at Sea were going all in and letting it all hang out. All in all, the public spaces on the ship seemed really updated and fresh. Of course, the actual decor is a matter of personal taste and not for everyone. I really don't understand why the ship has such a bad reputation, but maybe a lot of things have changed on it recently. I also wanted to mention that you don't have to do a closed cruise like we did. You can cruise over to the island, leave the ship, stay in a hotel for a few nights, and then cruise back a few days later, which is something I don't think any other cruise line in the USA is offering at the moment. I think that's a really interesting possibility and a fun way to get a little bit more out of your trip. And now we're back here by the pickleball courts up on the top deck in these nice little loungers in the shade, and I'm really curious to hear what you have to say or to read what you have to say in the comments now. Just from looking at what I showed you here, is this the most horrible cruise ship? Is this so awful? Keep in mind, you can usually get this cruise for $99 a person. That's including your cabin, the entertainment, and the food. So for $99 for 2 nights, what do you think? Also, if you want to give me a little bit of extra support, check out my book. It's called Getting Stitches on a Cruise Ship. It's available on Amazon now. And speaking of margaritas, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. I'm gonna go grab a drink and enjoy the rest of the day. And I hope you do too, even if you're not on a cruise. Bye-bye.
Maybe the day